What's up guys, I'm Mark from Stewdios. Welcome to the channel. Today I'm going over a few quick tips to help you step up your videos. Now at this stage in the game we're going to assume you have a camera and you know how to use it. I'm going to give you a few quick tips in filters, time lapses, lenses, transitions, and more. Let's get to it. Alright guys, the first lens I want to go over is called a CPL. That stands for a circular polarizer lens. And what it does is reduce glare and reflections on water, windows, and things like that. It also raises contrast. You can see these blue skies look a lot better and pop against the clouds with the CPL. Alright, now the other filter I have here is called an ND filter, a neutral density filter. This one specifically is a variable ND filter. This allows me to adjust the level of light I'm letting through. You might be asking yourself, why would I want to reduce light? Well, if you're shooting in the middle of the day, it might be too bright and overexposed. So this can help control that light. One more thing you can do with a neutral density filter is allow yourself to get long exposure photos in the middle of the day. A 2-second exposure would just be completely white and blown out. Slap this guy on there, you can control the light. Now filters can be a bit of an investment, but I think it's worthwhile. One way to make your dollar stretch a little bit farther when using these is buying step-up rings. If you have different size lenses, you can buy one large filter and then use step-up rings so you can use that same filter on all your lenses. Alright guys, let's take a closer look at how that long exposure can help us in the next tip. Step up your time lapses with motion and motion blur. And what do these all mean? Well, motion is movement within a time lapse. Now yes, you can go buy an expensive high-end slider and get really cool movement like these examples here, but you don't need to go out and buy an expensive slider. You can shoot your time lapses in 4K, and if you're exporting your video in 1080, that means you can crop in up to 200%. Now that allows you to zoom in on it, and you can move from left to right, diagonally, up and down, whatever you want, and just spice up that time lapse a little bit. Now the other thing I mentioned was motion blur. Using motion blur, you would do long exposure photos, something around 2 or 3 seconds. If you have fast moving things like people walking around or cars driving by, it'll give it a cool wispy look and really captures movement. Now, this isn't something you have to do every time, but it's a cool idea, and the way you do it is using that ND filter that we were talking about earlier. You can limit the amount of light that's coming in and get those 2-second exposures and get something cool like this. Next tip, lenses. Now lenses can be pricey, but even using what you have at your disposal can help you tell your story. Tell it how it is. Draw attention to your subject. Show new perspectives. Take a closer look. Or show all the action. Challenge yourself to be creative with the tools you have at hand. Now next tip, transitions. Practical transitions can be a fun way to step up your videos with just a little bit of planning. You can do things like whip transitions, hand on the lens. You can use a variable ND filter for the same effect. Or this last one here. That's a time lapse to talk. Alright, next tip. Audio. Just because something looks good doesn't mean it sounds good. Also, having one of these on hand can help a lot. This is called a dead cat. It helps cut down on wind noise. Great tool to have in the bag. Alright, on to the next tip. Alright guys, final tip is drones. Now I know drones can be expensive, but if you know anybody that has one, reach out and see if you can collab. Maybe you just have one shot in mind that you're trying to get, and maybe you can do a little trade, you know, take a couple photos of them and they'll get you a drone shot. The drone is a really cool and unique perspective, but make sure you use it with purpose. You can use it as a transition or to place setting. Another thing you want to do is try and have things in the foreground and background. This is really nice in drone footage because it kind of gives you a better perspective. Pretty cool, huh? Well, I know that was a lot, but I do have one more bonus tip for you, and that is to practice. Practice makes perfect, maybe take one tip at a time and work through all these, and experience will make you a better and more confident filmmaker. As always, thank you so much for watching. You can support us by subscribing, sharing with a friend. By the way, if you guys are wondering, all the gear that we use is linked below. Let me know if you have any other questions in the comments. Again, thanks for watching, guys. We'll catch you on the next one. Peace.